Hey my dudes, it's time for another week of Bageriet Lördag, the Saturday bakery. If you're new here, I run a bakery from my apartment. I sell pastry boxes and each pastry box contains 4 pastries and the menu changes every single week. On the menu this week, we have oat mini cakes, double chocolate walnut cookies, vaniljegiflar, and lastly, Swedish style cinnamon buns. This is gonna be so much fun. Let's get into it.
On Wednesdays, we prepare for the week ahead. I scale out all my ingredients for all my recipes so I don't have to think about it the rest of the week, and this saves me so much time. I also do small tasks like defrosting the blueberries for jam and toasting the walnuts for chocolate walnut cookies. I've gotten a few people asking me how I come up with the menu each week, and I just want you guys to know, in classic Cecilia style, I have the menus planned out until the end of the year. I am nothing if not a planner. The most important thing for me was that the menus were consistent for me so I could come up with routines, but also give the illusion of variety to the customer. I will circle back to that in a second. So I chose 4 categories of baked goods to have in the box. There will almost always be a mini cake, a cookie, a bun, and then something random like giflar or brownies. Something like that. The key is having good base recipes that you can tweak. I have great base recipes for the mini cake, buns, giflar, etc. So I just switch around the flavors based on the season and vibes. I also have put a few things on the menu so I can challenge myself too, of course. So back to the illusion of variety. I used to work at this bakery that was great at this. I'm not sure if they were consciously doing this as I never spoke to the owner about it, but it was just something I observed while I was working there. Basically, they had so many customers, they were always baking things off fresh. Like I'm talking if closing was at 6 p.m., last bake was at 5 p.m. It was that popular. Because of this, what was in the case was always changing depending on what just came out of the oven. This meant if you were a casual customer, you weren't one coming in every day at the same time, you would think the menu was always changing. It wasn't. I worked there for years and they almost never put a new item on the menu, but people thought they did because they had one seasonal bun that they would switch out that they never changed the schedule of. It was the same bun schedule year after year, and when I say seasonally, I mean a different bun like every couple months. I would work the register and watch people who had come in a couple times, expect to find the same thing again, and then it wasn't there. There was something new in the case instead. It wasn't that we had changed the menu, they had just come in at a different time of day or time of year. Let me tell you why this is brilliant. When you don't change products, you create routines, and that bakery had great routines. These routines allowed them to pump out a volume of baked goods that compared to the amount of staff was shocking. This meant the bakery made a lot of money, which obviously is great. But because of the bake schedules, it looked like there was something always new in the case. This made customers excited because while there was always going to be the greatest hits available, there was always something fun and new to try as well. But the bakers only really changed the routine seasonally, and even then not that much. They gave their customers the illusion of variety while keeping things consistent for themselves. It's a win-win-win for everyone involved. I tried to do the same. How can I make things interesting for the customer, challenge myself as a baker, and yet still have routines and systems so that I am not like running uphill every week? So that's where the base of my menu comes from. I also have a lot of thoughts on flavor and making flavor combos, but I'll do my TED Talk on that at another time. Anyways, I finished up my prep day by folding all the boxes, and that was that for the day. Thursday is usually my buns on buns day. Now, don't get it twisted. We did do buns. That is, in fact, what I started with, round number 1 of cardamom dough for the cinnamon buns. I also mixed together the cinnamon filling while the first dough was working. But I decided that instead of doing both cardamom dough and giflar dough in the same day, which is what I normally do, that I would make cookies instead. One, I was a bit tired and mixing cookie dough and scooping seemed like less work than shaping the giflar, but most importantly, it felt like it would be more efficient time-wise. I'm always trying to tweak my system so I can be as efficient as possible, and I really think I hit the nail on the head today. I made the cookie dough and it was a bit too soft to scoop, so I put it in the fridge to set a bit. By this time, round number 1 of dough was done, so I took it out of the machine, I put it on a tray and popped it in the fridge to rest. I put the second round of cardamom dough on and made this week's round of pan release. I popped that also in the fridge, checked the cookie dough, decided it was stiff enough for my purposes, and so I scooped all the cookies with my large scoop, which actually is not that large, it's just the largest that I own. It makes cookies that are between 40 and 45 grams. By the time I was done scooping and the cookies were placed in the fridge, the second round of dough was done mixing. I put my machine away and took the first round of dough out and put the second round of dough into the fridge to rest. I rolled out the dough until it was a large rectangle and then plopped on half of the cinnamon filling and spread it out over the whole piece. When I had mixed the filling together, the butter had been really stiff, so I heated it up, but I did it a bit too aggressively, so the filling was loose. This was actually a blessing in disguise though, because I couldn't do the second rollout as thin as I normally do, which meant meant I had to cut the dough into these really long skinny pieces, which is actually what I should be doing every week because look how beautifully they twisted up. Just gorgeous. I placed round number 1 in the drawer to freeze and took out round number 2. Then I did the same thing again. I rolled the dough into a large rectangle. I plopped on the rest of the filling. I spread it out all the way to the edges. I folded it in 3. I rolled it out a bit more and cut long skinny strips. I put the cut strips to the side so I would have room to work and set to work twisting all the buns. Once that was done, I put round number 2 of cinnamon buns in the freezer drawer as well. And then last thing I did was packed up the blueberry jam that I had been secretly cooking off camera the whole time. I was trying so hard not to splatter on myself. On Friday, the first thing I did was make giflar dough. I usually make this on Thursday, but I was experimenting a bit this week. I put everything in the mixer and then pushed that to the side. I quickly mixed together the butter filling for the giflar, and then it was mini cake time. I always make mini cakes on Fridays. I brushed all my molds with pan release, and for those who are new, the pans are 3 inches by 3 inches with removable bottoms, and I get them from Fat Daddy-O's. I have 48 of them, which is so convenient because I make 45 pastry boxes a week. It's almost like I planned that. Anyways, once those were all brushed, I put them to the side as my dough was done mixing. I divided it into 4 equal pieces and shaped each piece into a smooth log. This helps me roll them out evenly later. The logs all went onto a tray and put in the fridge to rest. This week, the mini cakes were oat and honey, so I had subbed some of the sugar in my normal cake recipe for honey. All the rest of the wet ingredients went in along with the sugar. I mixed it all together and then mixed in my dries, including the oatmeal. I filled each mold with batter, and once the first tray was done, I popped it in the oven straight away. While those baked, I filled the rest of the molds. This always takes me a bit of time because I want each mold to have exactly the same amount of batter, 110 grams, and having to be accurate means I slow down a bit. But eventually I got it all done and the first tray came out of the oven and the second went in. I took the first round of giflar dough out of the fridge and rolled it out. It was a really thin, skinny rectangle. I weighed out 1/4 of the filling, spread it out, and rolled the dough into a long, skinny log. I cut it into fat pieces and arranged them on a tray to go into the fridge. Then I got started on round number 2. Rolled it out, slapped on the filling, rolled it up into a log, cut it into pieces, and put those pieces on the tray. By this time, round number 2 of cake was baked, and so I put round number 3 in the oven. Speaking of round number 3, I got started on the 3rd round of giflar dough. Again, I rolled it out, spread the filling, rolled it up, cut into pieces, and put away. Round number 4, the final round of giflar, same thing. Rolled it out, spread the filling, rolled it up, cut into pieces, put away. Round 3 of cake came out of the oven, and the last round of cake went in. While that was baking, I made Swiss meringue buttercream. I was going to make Italian meringue, but at the last second, I chickened out. I've had some bad experiences with Italian buttercream when I first started my cake journey, and now I'm so comfortable with Swiss buttercream, I just couldn't bring myself to try something new right before a Saturday. I'll test it out some other time. The last round of cake was baked, and I had to make a second round of buttercream because my mixer is too small to fit everything I need into one batch. By the way, as you guys have seen, I like to use both of my mixers. I use the Enka Shroom mostly for doughs, but then I like to use the Kenwood for meringue. That's just what I'm used to at this point. Anyway, once all the buttercream was done and put away, I just had to put away the cakes. I ran my offset around the edge of each one and then flipped them over. The cakes always slide right out. I scraped the bottoms off and I can fit 24 cakes on a tray. Lastly, I wrapped them in plastic so they wouldn't dry out. This day was really efficient, which we love. This Saturday was good, but kind of boring. I mean, it wasn't for me. It was just as good and fun and stressful as it usually is for me. But as I was filming this, I was like, okay, this is not gonna be very entertaining, maybe. Pretty much the whole morning was just like, put thing on tray, put tray in oven, take thing out of oven, place on different tray, put more thing on tray, bake more, move tray around for more efficient use of space. Axel had taken the cinnamon buns out last night as usual, but now that it is definitely not summer here in Sweden anymore, they were not proofed and ready when I woke up. So I took the giflar out. I had kept these in the fridge this week because I thought it would help them proof faster, which, oh boy, it definitely did. But those two things still took a while to proof this morning, even though I had placed a pot of boiling water on the speed rack and covered the whole thing with the plastic cover guy. So I baked off the cookies first. This took quite a few rounds because the cookies spread out a lot, so I was only baking 9 off at a time. After each round came out, I shaped them a bit by swirling a cookie cutter around the edges. Finally, the cinnamon buns were proofed and all the cookies baked, so I threw the first tray in the oven. Once it was already in there, I decided to check the giflar, and oops, the giflar were like really proofed and really needed to go in the oven, but it was fine. As soon as the first cinnamon bun tray was out, I started baking off the giflar. They got a layer of egg wash before they baked and then were brushed with a really thick vanilla syrup when they came out of the oven. By the way, all the trays that fit on the speed rack don't fit in my oven or the fridge. I only have one jelly roll, like half sheet pan that fits in the fridge, and all the dark colored pans are the ones that came with my oven, and I have 3 of them. That's why you see me constantly sliding things from one tray to
another. It's annoying, but not as annoying as not having the speed rack or speed rack trays at all. One day I will have ovens and refrigerators that are built to fit speed rack pans. My big dream is to have like normal full sheet pans. Right now my sheet trays and speed rack are gastro pan size, which is what is used in combi ovens, which I also want a combi, but more because I think they're fun rather than for my future bakery. Anyway, I'm sure most of you barely even know what I'm talking about right now, but just let a girl dream, okay? Or rant. Or as one of you said in one of my comments, oh, I love your tirades, which reminded me of the word tirade, which I hadn't heard in a long time and I really love it. And that is truly what I usually do. So thank you for listening to all my tirades. I love you all. Okay, back to what actually matters. All the cinnamon buns got brushed with egg as soon as they came out of the oven and then got a sprinkle of pearl sugar. I cut all of the cakes in half, and every time I do this, I'm reminded why I don't usually do this because it took me so long and I was so behind, but it's really cute, so worth it, I guess. I re-whipped the buttercream so that it was nice and smooth again, with the hairdryer helping me out to heat up the bowl. I don't use a heat gun because they're too hot. Hairdryers have a more gentle heat, which is better. Each layer of cake got frosting and jam. I popped them together and then decorated them with corn flowers that I got from Cube Greens, a great company here in Stockholm. I'm not sponsored by them. I just love them very, very much. Matilda came over to help me pack and I got zero video of that as I was super stressed, but we made it out the door on time and that's all that really matters. And that's it for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are in Stockholm and you would also like to buy a pastry box, then what you need to do is go follow Bageriet Lördag on Instagram. Every Tuesday at 12 o'clock noon Sweden time, I post a link in my stories to the order form, and you go into the order form and you prepay. That's on Tuesday, and then on Saturday, voila, you come, you pick up, you eat your box. Life is happy. You have a beautiful Saturday. But just remember to like set an alarm or a reminder or something. The last couple weeks I have been selling out in less than 10 minutes, so you got to be quick. If you want short form day in the lifestyle vlogs, you can follow me at cecilia.talone on both Instagram and TikTok. If you would like more long form vlogs just like this one, or recipe tutorials for things like, I don't know, the kanelbullar, then you can subscribe to me right here on YouTube. I hope that you have a great week and that I'll see you next week. Hej då!